All right, welcome to All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm going to start with what is all or nothing in real estate? So this page is specifically designed to give back to the real estate community. It is my way to give back to the industry that has given so much to me and to my family. So I came up with the name All or Nothing because that is the mindset that has absolutely transformed my life. And I wanted to share that mindset with you. Anything that is worth doing, give it your all or don't do it. If you adopt that all or nothing mindset, which is a lot of what this training will be about, then you can absolutely transform your life. So that's where all or nothing in real estate came. That mindset by itself, adding nothing else that you're going to learn, just adopting that mindset and having the all or nothing mindset. If you do something, don't half-ass it. Go all in. Go all in on whatever it is that you're doing. It can absolutely transform your life. So, all or nothing real estate. This webinar is going to be 3 simple steps to double your income. And I'm just going to let you guys know up front, this training, this page, this isn't going to be for everybody. And I'm 1,000% okay with that. The circles that I run in, the people I look up to they're my mentors, and they don't necessarily care about my feelings, right? And so I don't say that to be negative, but I just say that those people hold me accountable. Those people help me level up in my life and help me accomplish my goals. And so that's what a lot of this will be. There will be a lot of in your face, down and dirty. I'm going to bring the fire here because that's the passion that I have. This is a passion project for me. And so if this isn't for you, if you don't like my style, no harm, no foul. You can find somebody else to follow. But if you enjoy this, if you learn something, if you get something out of this, please share it with a friend. I'm doing this for free. This is my way to give back. I'm taking time out of my busy schedule. I should be having time with my family right now, but I'm trying to give back to you guys. I'm trying to help you change your lives. And so if you find anything of value, please share this. Invite them to like the page. Tell them about the webinar, just so we can change and impact some more lives. That's 100% my focus. I feel like this is my path to be able to help more people in the real estate business and help them change their lives for them and for their families. All right, so buckle up, hang on, because I'm going to bring the fire. This is going to be real. It's going to be raw. There's truth from the trenches that will help you change your life. So 3 steps to double your income. Around 87% of real estate agents fail within the first 3 years of the business. If you didn't know that, that's a huge stat. Almost 90% of real estate agents fail. So how have I helped both brand new agents and veteran agents on my team double their income? It's by following these simple, proven steps that I'm going to teach you today. 3 simple steps to double your income. So before I get into the first step, I'm going to tell you some success stories. It's important for you guys to understand this isn't theory. This isn't me just reading a book and saying, hey, I think this will help you guys. This is actually stuff that I've applied to my own life for me to double my income multiple times in the last several years, on top of other agents that have come to my team, both seasoned agents and brand new agents, helping them double their income. So one story, this guy he was licensed for 2 years at another company. He came to our team. He followed these principles that I'm going to teach you today, and he doubled his income 2 years in a row on our team. So the first year he came, he doubled his income from the year before. He'd already been in the business 2 years. He moved to a different area, so he didn't have a sphere, didn't have anything, but came to our team and doubled his income the first year and then doubled it again the second year because of these principles. So again, this is not fluff. This isn't theory. This is true stuff that I actually apply with my business, with my agents, that I want you to learn from. I've got another lady on the team. She came to the team. She was licensed for 6 months with another company, and she'd given up. She had used all of her money, ran out of her savings, because it's just expensive to be a real estate agent, right? And so she came to us and she was giving up. Well, her first week with us, she wrote 3 contracts the first week. Now you fast forward 2 years later, she's in leadership on the team. She bought her dream home with her and her family in the dream location that they always wanted to move to, just in 2 years. So talk about doubling your income and changing your life. These are true stories from the trenches, right? This is not theory. This is the real stuff, and I want to help you guys accomplish that. Let's talk about brand new agents. So if you're a brand new agent watching this right now, there's still hope for you. We had 3 new agents that started 2 weeks ago on our team. Brand new, newly licensed. We brought them in the first week out of training. They set 9 appointments in their very first week. That's huge. It's because of these systems, these processes that I'm going to teach you today. So I'm going to dive right into the content now. I just wanted you guys to have a little backstory on where did I come up with this title. It wasn't clickbait. It isn't anything other than I've actually helped people accomplish this time and time and time again. And so I want to help you do the same. So point number one is lead conversion. So too many people think that you have to buy more leads to close more deals. And most of the time that's not the case. Real estate agents, how many phone calls do we get on a daily basis? Somebody trying to sell us leads like they think we're made of money. You know why they do that? Because most of the time we're willing to just write a check to get more business. What if I could tell you ways to get around that? Because that's just a waste of money. Buying more leads does not equal more business because you only have so much time and so much focus. What if you could get better at converting the leads you already have? Not only do you save money, but you can actually focus your time, right? So buying more leads, most of the times, there's always exceptions. Most of the time is a waste of money. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to look in the mirror and really answer this. If I was to look in your database right now, if you gave me a backdoor to your database, are you properly working the leads that you have? Are you properly working the ones you already have? Are you giving up on them too soon? Are you not building relationships? You're not following up properly? If the answer is no, you're not, what is this new lead going to do? Everybody wants the low-hanging fruit, the person that's ready to buy or sell right now. We all want that. But how do you actually know which lead source is going to get that? Because here's a spoiler alert. Any lead that's in your database, guess what? They're in everybody else's database in your area too. They just are. Because when they're searching for real estate in today's world, they're going to end up on other portals, on other websites, and they're going to be in other people's database also. So you just going to buy another lead source and hope that you can quote unquote time it right? Or do you want to build a proven process that is duplicatable, scalable, repeatable, so you can convert more of those leads versus going having to buy more that you just hope you get the timing right, right? So that's what I'm going to teach you today. Lead conversion is point number one. So for example, on our team, a little bit about my team. I forgot to brag on them a little bit. I've got the best team in the world, in my opinion. We were ranked number 15 in the nation last year, according to Real Trends. We're in a small town, Missouri, but we've been very, very successful. We're on pace to close 850 units this year. So we were also very fortunate to be ranked one of the Inc. 5000 fastest growing private companies in the nation last year. Pretty prestigious award from where we come from. So again, this isn't theory. I actually know what I'm talking about. And if you actually apply this stuff, this can change your life. So on our team, we call all of our leads a minimum of 15 times in the first 30 days. A minimum of 15 times in the first 30 days. People may say, oh, that's too aggressive. I don't want to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, you've got your mindset wrong. Because you think you're still trying to sell these people. That's the problem. That's why you're not converting business, because you're trying to sell them. Nobody wants to be sold. When's the last time you got a phone call from a salesperson and we're happy to talk to them? It just doesn't happen, right? Nobody wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy. I'm going to say that again. Nobody wants to talk to a salesperson. Nobody wants to be sold. But on the other end, everybody wants to buy. So what does that mean? You've got to get away from that salesperson stigma. You've got to get better than that and get around it, right? So we internally changed our language to help people. We help clients with the biggest one of, if not the biggest financial decision of their lives. That's what we do as real estate agents. We don't buy houses. We don't sell houses, right? We help people with the biggest financial decision of their life. And they trust us to do that. So when you have that mentality, when you actually think about that, you can actually help these people to convert them because they're no longer a lead. They're somebody you're wanting to help. And the better you are at handling those objections, getting past that stigma of you being a salesperson, the more people you're going to help. Right. So, and so 15 times in the first 30 days, it's way easier to call them that many times if you have that mentality. You have the mindset of, I'm actually helping these people. So make sure you have that mindset because, and be honest, if you're one of those people that doesn't want to help people, you're just doing it for the money, you're in the wrong training because you ain't going to make it in this group. We are changing lives, not only real estate agents, but the clients that we're able to serve as well. Right. All right, so this is in addition to text, emails. We run marketing ads to retarget our leads, so they constantly see my face. They see our brand in front of them. Once they come to our site, they see us until they buy or die is what we call it. But for real, they see us everywhere. I have a different look on branding and marketing. A lot of people will tell you, well, if you don't know where that lead came from, you're not doing very good at marketing. I see it the exact opposite. I may not have a good return on investment on what that marketing strategy was, but when people come in and they say, hey, I ask them, hey, how did you hear about us? We just see you everywhere. That's pretty good branding, in my opinion. No, I can't track that down to that exact lead source. But would you rather have a return on investment on lead sources where you have to call them? Or would you rather have a return on investment on branding where they call you? That's two different sides of the coin. I'm the branding play all day long. We are going to sell about 400 homes this year on my team from people that reached out to us and said, hey, I've heard good things. I want to work with you. Because we are in this to help people, and we've done a great job with branding. So, all right. So another quick, here's a key takeaway. You guys should write this down. When you get a first lead in, speed to lead matters, right? There's stats everywhere. If you're not calling your leads quickly, you're wasting your money on that lead. I mean, when I say quickly, like first 10 seconds, as soon as your phone vibrates, you better be on the phone because you have to get them in that buying mode, right? You want to have a better conversion rate, call your leads quicker. That's pretty simple, right? We can all do that. Number two is if they don't answer, double dial. But that's aggressive. I don't want to be that salesperson. What did I say? We're not salespeople. We are calling them so that we can help them. But we can't help them if we don't get them on the phone. Very, very important distinction there. All right, so how many salespeople, the stats they just make me want to puke, to be honest. You look at salespeople, about how many times that they just call a lead once and give up. How many of you call a lead once and just give up? Oh, that was a crappy lead. Number one, you probably didn't call them in the first 5 minutes. Number two, what if they were at work? They couldn't answer. What if they had screaming kids in the car, right? You gotta make sure that you understand it's not their job to call you back. You are the one that is trying to help them. Are you actually trying to help them? Or are you doing this for them or for you? If you're doing this for them, you owe it to them to get them on the phone. Most agents give up too early. So it's 7 to 12 touches on average to get your first meeting. 7 to 12 touches on average to get your first meeting. So if you're calling them once, you're doing it wrong. You're giving up. Don't give up. The clients deserve more. All right, this is going to ruffle some feathers. I've got a bold prediction. I want you guys to be honest with yourselves right here. I really do. I want you to be honest with yourselves. I'd be willing to bet that you are hanging up on more clients. You are the one hanging up on more clients than clients are hanging up on you. I'm going to say that again. I'd be willing to bet that you are hanging up on more clients than clients are hanging up on you. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you are not handling objections, and if your go-to is, oh, well, I'll just send you properties. When they give you one objection, they say, I'm just looking. You're like, oh, okay, great. Well, I'll send you properties. Let me know if you see anything you like. That bullshit doesn't work. Again, I told you I'm not for everybody. But when I hear that, you're in the wrong business. You're not going to be able to help people if that's how you handle that objection. Of course they're looking. That's why they're on your site. Why did they walk into your store? Because they're looking at houses. If you're not able to handle that objection, then you need to find a different career. I'm sorry. Or you need to attend trainings like this. And you need to learn how to handle that objection. Because people, let me let you in on a secret. Right here on this phone, they don't need you to send them properties. They have access to everything you have access to. That's the world we live in. They probably send you more listings than you send them. Right? Because they're at home looking at night on all these different portal websites, and they get notified when you get notified. And they're probably less busy than you are if you're a productive agent. They don't need you to send them properties. Stop it. It's a waste of time. That's zero value add. You cannot help people that way. Quit hanging up on them. As soon as they give you an objection, we don't know how to handle that objection. You have to get good at handling objections. You want to convert leads, you got to get past objections. So make sure you're prospecting with intent. That helps you get past the objections. We say that all the time. Your intentions matter. How many of you, when you're actually calling people, you're calling people when you're in a bad mood? I call it Eeyore, right? Everybody knows Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, right? If you're just calling and you're just in the bad mood, you're slunched over, you're talking real slow, you're not real excited. Who wants to buy a house from you? Who wants to buy a house from that guy or that girl? Nobody. Buying or selling a home is an exciting experience for them. Help them be excited. Be excited to help them. Know why you're calling. You're calling to set an appointment so you can help them, right? Don't just go through the motions. You should be handling a minimum of 3 objections before you end the conversation. And you're going to look at me and say, "Well, I thought we weren't supposed to be salespeople." You're not selling them, you're helping them. But if you can't handle objections, how are you going to help them? Do clients know everything they need to know about the process? Or do you have some education, some knowledge that you could help them and they could benefit from? It's your responsibility as a real estate agent to give them that knowledge. Quit letting yourself off the hook and saying, "Well, I just don't want to be pushy." You don't have to be pushy, but don't be reactive, be proactive. If you truly want to help these people, learn how to have scripts and conversations to handle these objections. And at the end of the day, if you can't set an appointment because they're not ready, or whatever the case may be, switch to building a relationship and build a follow-up schedule. Never get off the phone until you have a follow-up planned. Never get off the phone unless you have a follow-up plan with that client. All right, here's a good analogy. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but I remember back when I was a kid, I went into a shoe store every year before school. I'd get a new pair of shoes, right? I go and pick them out. First thing I did, I opened the door, ding, ding, I'm in the shoe store. The person at the register, what do they say? "How can I help you?" What does every person that walks in that store say? "No thanks, I'm just looking." I walked into the shoe store with money to buy a pair of shoes. So get over yourself when you say, "Oh, well, the client said they're just looking. I don't want to be pushy." Make sure you realize the shoe store analogy. It makes a big, big difference in your business. Imagine if that shoe store employee came up to you and said, "Oh, great. Well, we have a great variety and selection here of shoes. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly is it that brought you in here today? What kind of shoes are you looking for?" "Oh, we're looking for basketball shoes. Basketball practice starts next week." "Oh, great. The basketball section is right over here." Now you're providing value to that client. But why do we think as a real estate agent, "Oh, well, they're just looking. We can't help them"? Why don't you ask what they're looking for? What area are they looking in? Be of service, be help to these people. Quit selling and start helping, right? All right, so shoe store analogy. Not only are they walking in your shoe store ready to buy a pair of shoes, right? They're in your store. So again, get the mindset of, number one, you're wanting to help them, but number two, they're in your store shopping. You sell real estate. Your store is your website. They're in your store. Provide them value and help them. Don't just be the agent. The only thing that you sell is when you happen to call people at the right time and they say, "Hey, yeah, actually, I just saw this new listing. Can we go look at it?" Sure, we all want that business. But what if I could teach you how to convert the other 99.9% of leads that are in your database that you're saying are bad leads? Number one, you're going to save money, you're going to have less frustration, but you're going to build a bigger business, and you're going to be able to actually help people, walk them through the process. When you actually walk them through the process and it's not a slam dunk or a home run, you build a relationship. You make a friend, you make a sale. And guess what happens? If you help solve a problem, you help educate them on something that they weren't educated, now you, as the real estate professional, own the conversation when you're not there. When somebody's buying or selling a home, what is more important to them in their life than that? Not much. So you are going to get brought up in one of two ways. It's either going to be positive or it's going to be negative. Or third way is not at all, just neutral. So what are you doing as a real estate agent to go above and beyond for that client? What are you doing to go above and beyond to educate and provide value so that they recommend you to their friends? How do you think we're going to sell 400 houses from people calling us? It's by doing the simple stuff over and over and over again. That's how you build a brand. That's how you build a reputation. You want to build a sustainable, lasting business? You can't rely on just the next lead source. I saw this meme this other day on Facebook, and they said, "Oh, if you can't buy a business, you don't have a business." That's bullshit. I'll put my business up against yours all day. Because guess what? I don't have to buy the business because I earned it. Because people like me, they know me, and they trust me. And they know for a fact I'm going to take care of them. Don't get me wrong. We buy a ton of leads. We have our own marketing. We create our own leads. We have all that stuff too. But people forget about taking care of the business that they have. That's free business right there. So make sure you're using that to your advantage. Moving on here. One of the most popular questions that I get, don't be this guy. Please don't be this guy. One of the most popular questions I get, they said they'll reach out to me and say, dude, you're killing it. I see you guys are going to sell 800 homes this year. You sold 100 homes last month or whatever. What lead source are you using? You got to tell me, what's your secret? What's the lead source? If you're focused on what is the next big lead source, you're doing it wrong. There is no magic pill. There isn't. Takes consistent effort over a period of time. That's the wrong question. When you're asking for that magic bullet, you're asking for what is that secret lead? What leads are converting for you? But we're in different markets. Do you think those leads are going to convert the same in different marketplaces? Use your head. It's a terrible question. It doesn't matter what leads are working for me because I'm not in your marketplace. Think about it. How terrible of a question is that? Really, it drives me nuts. So the answer that I give them is the lead source that works is the one that you work. The lead source that works is the one you work. If you consistently work a lead source over a period of time, you'll be able to track if that lead source works or not. But you have to put in the work. Don't wait for somebody to call you from a lead and say, oh, well, that lead worked because I got a call the first day. That's not how you judge a lead source, right? You've got to be the one proactive. All right, you got to be able to handle objections. I hit on that a little bit. Most objections aren't truly objections. Most objections are lack of education. What are you doing to educate your clients? Do you have a marketing initiative that's out there educating them without getting anything in return? Are you emailing your database educational videos? Are you sending them content? Are you educating your clients when you meet them face to face? Are you educating the lead on why it's important to do this, why it's important to do that? Make sure you educate them. If you educate them, you have way less objections, number one. It's either lack of education or lack of trust. Have you built that trust yet? Have you built a relationship where they trust you? I don't know about you, but if I'm making one of the biggest financial decisions of my life, I want somebody to work with somebody I trust. Be trustworthy, right? Gets rid of those objections before they come. Yes, we have scripts to get over those objections, but the best way to get over the objection is to handle it before it comes, right? All right, make sure you have a script. This pretty goes without saying, but I've heard it over and over and over again. Most agents get on the phone and they don't know what to say. They just get on the phone and they're like, some lead comes in on 123 Main Street and they're, oh yeah, that looks like a house. It's priced at X amount of dollars. You want to buy it? You want to buy it? It's just terrible. Some of the stuff I hear. If you were in their shoes, what would you want to do? Provide them. They're just a person. Talk to them. Have a conversation, right? So it doesn't have to be the best script in the world, but you have to start with the end in mind. You got to start somewhere. Where do you want to accomplish by calling this lead? What do you want to accomplish? Build a script around that. Most people that do scripts, so I'm just going to be honest, most people that build scripts do it wrong. Number one, the script is not everything. Yes, we have scripts that we use, but sales is not about what you say. Sales is about what you ask. You salespeople are focused too much on what you say versus asking good questions. You have two ears and one mouth for a reason. You need to ask your clients questions. If you just assume and you just puke all this value that you think is value, but you don't know anything about them, you're going to turn them off and you're not going to build that rapport in that relationship, right? You've got to ask the right questions. This isn't a one size fits all business. Every situation, every client is different, right? So why are you going to have one script for everybody? You got to develop multiple scripts in different situations. You can't treat them all the same. So we have situational scripts based on the situation so you can pivot quickly. But it's very, very important. I used to hate scripts and sometimes I still do. But I understand that they're necessary so that they can arm you with the tools. But where it goes wrong is people just pick up the sheet and they just start reading. That is not how you operate scripts. You have to internalize them. They have to come second nature to you so you can flow fluently in a conversation. And how do you do that? Through practice. Practice makes perfect, right? All right, so again, this old bullshit of sales is about all of this pitch fest stuff, right? You got to do the assumptive close, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. That bullshit doesn't work anymore. Quit it. Get rid of it. People don't want to be sold, right? People see right through it now. They see right through all that stuff. It doesn't work. You have to add value, build a relationship, ask questions, figure out where they are in the process, and then help them to the next step. right? So you got to meet them where they are. How did they get there? So are they a first-time seller? Why are they selling? Why are they buying? Are they upgrading? Are they downgrading? How did they get there? What area are they looking to move to? Where are they coming from? These are all questions that you ask people so that you can get an understanding of their situation. I don't say anything. I just ask questions, right? If you ask the good questions, you get good answers. And then what happens? The more that they talk, the better the conversation goes to them, right? All right, so meet them where they are. I call them power questions. You got to find out how you can actually help them. Scripts need to be question-based. Old school pitch fest sales strategies don't work, right? And then also find their pain or their pleasure. Why are they looking to buy or sell? What would make it better for them? Or what is the pain in their life that is forcing them to buy or sell? Right? It's figure that out, and now you can help solve their problem. So when I early on started in sales, I saw all this training, all this stuff going everywhere about all these fast talking salespeople, and I simplified it for myself, and it's not let me down yet. Sales is solving problems. You should write that down. You want to be a good salesperson, you got to be great at solving problems. But where most people go wrong is they assume they already know the problem without asking the right questions. So you have to find the problem, not just the problem, but the root of the problem. You got to go deep in the conversation. Ask great questions to figure out what the actual problem is, and then you solve it. Now you made a sale. Sales is all about solving problems, but most people can't solve the problem because they don't know what the problem is. Make sure you ask great questions. All right. Recap point number 1, lead conversion. To have a good lead conversion, there's a few tools you need. Make sure you have a good CRM system. I didn't say great because guess what? The CRM system that's good is the one that you're going to use. So find one that works for you and use it. You've got to be able to generate leads. If you need help with generating leads, please send me a private message, reach out. I've got some tricks up my sleeve for stuff like that maybe would be a good fit to help you. But if you don't have leads, you don't have a business, right? So you have to have leads of some sort. You have to be able to generate leads. And how we do it is we like to generate leads through branding so that we don't rely on all these third-party sources. Don't get me wrong. Yes, we do pay them as we were growing so quickly, but we try to get as much business as we can from organic people visiting our site, etc. And then you got to follow up. We say around here, the fortune's in the follow-up. It's not about the low-hanging fruit. Anybody can sell a house if you get lucky. What if you build a relationship and the rapport where you keep putting enough people in the hopper, in the funnel over time and follow up properly that you know what your next 6 months of business is going to be? We've created that on our team. We know predictable, scalable business. If you do X, it equals Y. We can do that for all of our agents. And then, of course, you have to follow through. You have to deliver. All right, point number 1 was lead conversion. All right, point number 2 is accountability. I know it's a cuss word. Sorry. A lot of you agents are like, I'm 1099 employee. I don't need accountability. I do what I want. Well, that's why you're in this training, because you do what you want and you're not accountable. Number 1, if you're an individual agent, you need to be accountable to yourself. You need to be accountable to your family. Figure out why you're doing what you're doing and hold yourself accountable to that. If you're not accountable, what are you doing? Like, the accountability is the highest form of love. So I'm trying to hold you accountable here. It's because I want you guys to succeed, right? I don't do this because I like to hear myself talk. So make sure you're holding yourselves accountable. If you're a team leader, if you're an owner, if you have people underneath you, you have got to make sure that you hold them accountable. But you have to do it in the right way. Too many people think accountability is a cuss word, right? I joked earlier. It's not. Accountability is the highest form of love you can show an individual, whether that be yourself or other people. It's the highest form of love you can show an individual. So accountability isn't negative. It's the exact opposite. Anybody in life that is super successful has an extremely high level of accountability in their life, whether it be their health, their fitness, their relationships, their work, whatever, because they realize that if they want to accomplish great things, they have to be accountable for those actions. One of the things we do on our team, we just started doing, thanks to my coach, John Cheplack, it's called self-directed work groups. And they have been a game changer. Now it's no longer top-down accountability. It's peer-to-peer accountability. They're holding each other accountable to reach their goals and what they want to accomplish. Accountability doesn't have to be a bad thing if you do it the right way, right? but you need it to be successful. You need it. If you want to double your business, you're going to have to be great at converting leads. You're going to be great at creating leads and then converting them. And then you're going to have to hold yourself accountable to doing what it takes to follow up, follow through, and the consistent action to double your business, right? If you hold yourself accountable, I promise you, you will look back one of these days and thank yourself for it. It may be hard at times, right? But if you hold yourself accountable, it's huge. So accountability, most leaders do this wrong. I used to. That's what I learned, right? Is most people hold people accountable by micromanaging, right? That's not what I'm saying. Don't micromanage your people. Don't micromanage yourself. You're a single agent. Accountability needs to be done the right way. So, as an example, if I have an agent on my team that is struggling, they're in a slump, right? It happens. Real estate, it's a roller coaster sometimes. We try to prevent it, but there's ebbs and flows. It just happens. Momentum's a real thing, one way or the other. And so if they're in a slump, most leaders or most people start being harder on themselves. The leader will say, well, you got to make more calls, right? And be more aggressive. But that's the wrong way to do that. They're in a slump. They need to build little wins to build that confidence so they can keep growing, right? And then when someone's crushing it, that's when everybody's like gives them a pat on the back. Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. Stop. You want them to do better, right? They want to do better. So if you start patting them on the back, guess what happens? That high, it starts coming back down, right? So make sure that you got to do the opposite of what your gut tells you. What most of these quote unquote gurus tell you. When someone's struggling, take it easy on them. Get more personal. How can you help them? Versus saying cracking the whip, right? But when someone's doing great, push them for more. You're doing great, but now let's do excellent. I think you can do more, right? And that helps them accomplish their goals. All right, so you got to get small wins. So to build confidence in somebody, they got to win. So how do you hold them accountable but get them wins? Well, let's say something that comes up on our team is the number of dials that you're making, right? Number of conversations, whichever one, pick one. And so if you want to get those wins, you need to get that win stacked up on top of each other. So somebody says, oh, I'm going to make, I don't know, 100 calls this week. I'm just throwing a number out there. And then 3 weeks in a row, they only get 80 calls. Now they come to the accountability groups, they come to the leader, they come wherever and say, or themselves, right? A lot of people, if you're a single agent out there, find somebody else to hold you accountable. Another agent in your office, your broker, your team leader, whoever. It could be, I know one thing that worked for me is I had my daughter hold me accountable. I had struggled with working too much, believe it or not. And so I had her help hold me accountable to putting my phone down and not working at certain hours. Right. And now when your daughter comes to you and says, hey, daddy, you're not supposed to be working right now. It wakes you up. Right. So have somebody hold you accountable in your life. All right. But back to getting those wins. If you get those wins, you build confidence. Where people go wrong with accountability, they're in a slump and they start yelling at them and they crack the whip and they micromanage even more. Well, that just makes you go further down the hill, right? You got to build that confidence, get them a little win, and they get a little win, then stack on top of that, and then they build momentum, and it helps pull them out of that slump, right? So when somebody has the 100 calls as an example and they're only hitting 80, we'll ask them, do you think maybe you should lower it? What does the group think, right? And well, you've got 83 weeks in a row. Let's go to 85, make it more obtainable, right? And now they win. And the next week they go 90. Then the next week they go 100. Then they go 120. And they keep growing on it because they got that win. But they don't like the defeat of not getting their goal, right? They're letting the team down, they're letting themselves down, etc. All right, so if you get belief in yourself, then you get confidence, right? A lot of people struggle with confidence. They struggle with, and do I have what it takes to really sell that many houses? You know why you don't have the confidence? Either number one, you didn't do the work, or number two, you haven't experienced enough wins. Quit. It's a little shift here, a mindset that I want you guys to adopt is I call it you versus you. In my opinion, we compare ourselves to other people way too much in this world. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Focus on yourself, getting a little bit better each day, right? If you can get a little bit better each day, that's a win. Don't compare yourself to somebody else that you don't know what they've been through. You don't know how long they've been working on their craft. That's not fair. Make sure that you are focusing on yourself to get a little bit better each day. All right. You have to be accountable to win. Winners are accountable, period. You have to be accountable. The higher level of accountability you have in their life, the more successful you're going to be. If you're making goals, you're doing it wrong. If you're making goals, right now is goal setting season. You should already have them set, by the way. But if you don't, you need to get it done for next year. But don't make goals. Replace that word with commitments. Be committed. Don't have a goal that is, oh, I hope I reach this. No, be committed. I want to be committed to this. In any situation in the world, the more committed person wins. As a matter of fact, I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you right here. If you are losing right now, if you didn't hit your goals this year, if you got somebody else that outsold you, you got somebody else that is healthier than you, somebody else that is doing more in your life than you are doing that you want, that you're striving to be, it's not because they're better than you. They don't have more talent than you. It's because they're more committed, period. That's in your control. What are you committed to? Your commitments will set your future. Be committed, unwavering. Zero excuses, zero compromise. When you set a commitment, you better make it happen. If you can do that, it can absolutely change your life if you hold yourself accountable to that. All right, stay consistent. Consistency wins, right? You got to win the day. Focus on what can I control today. Get tunnel vision on winning the day. What can I do today and win the day? Another part of accountability is vision. If you don't know what you want or why you want what you want, you can't achieve it. If you don't know what you want or why you want it, how are you going to achieve it? This one kind of hits home with me. So right now I'm on phase 1 of 75 Hard. And one of the things of that program right now is 10 minutes of dedicated visualization every day. My brain never shuts off. I don't sleep at night. It just never shuts off. It's always going, always going. And so what it has forced me to do, I'm on day 25, 26, and literally this webinar is happening right now because of that commitment. Because I was visualizing, what can I do to help more people? I forced myself to slow down and visualize, what did I want? And I decided I want to give back. I want to help more people. Because I've focused on that for so long, this is a reality. This is happening, right? And so what is your vision? What do you want in your life? Why do you want to sell 50 houses this year? Why do you want to serve 50 families? Why do you want that? So if you actually figure out what it is you want and why you want it, now you can tie it to something bigger and you can actually accomplish it. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day. That's why we procrastinate. Oh, we can do it tomorrow, right? How many of you procrastinated and said, oh, I can do that tomorrow. I can get caught up tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes, you're like, oh shit, I can't get caught up. I'll do it the next day. And then it just becomes so big you forget about it, right? So don't overestimate what you can accomplish in a day. And bigger than that, don't underestimate what you can accomplish in a year. A year is a long time. 365 days, most years, right? 365 days. That's 365 opportunities for you to be better, for you to gain momentum. So focus on control the controllables is what I call it. You have to win the day today. What can I do today to accomplish my goals? What can I do today to move the needle forward? I'm going to focus on what I can do today. If you win enough days, guess what? You win enough weeks. Win enough weeks, turns into months. Win enough months, it turns into years. You'll look back a year from now and not recognize yourself. I've done that 3 years in a row now with my life. I made a commitment at the beginning of the year that this year is the year I'm going to look back for the rest of my life and say the year 2021 was the year my life changed forever. I'm telling you, I've had a pretty amazing year. And now adding this program to it that I never thought would happen, having you guys actually listen to little old me and care what I have to say, hopefully it helps you guys. It's a pretty amazing story. You know why? Because I believed, right? All right, and because I put in the work day after day after day. All right, moving on. So I got a 2A, so I kind of cheated with the 3. There was 4, so time management, accountability go together. So you have to manage your time. Who wants to work less hours and make more money, right? All of us want to give ourselves a raise, right? So how do you do that? So time management and accountability are probably 2 different points, but they work very closely together. So I'm going to put them together here. So if you don't manage your time properly, then the accountability isn't effective. Same thing with if you manage your time great, but you're not accountable, you're not going to be productive, right? So you have to have time management and accountability. So how many people struggle with the busies? They just want to be busy. Oh my gosh, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. Get rid of the word busy in your vocabulary. People wear busy around like it's a badge of honor. I'm here to tell you, you don't get no freaking trophy for being busy. Quit saying it. People don't care. They don't care about your excuses. Quit being busy and be productive. Get shit done. Be productive. What are you actually doing with your time? Most of the time, we talk more about being busy than we're actually busy because we get in a state of overwhelm. I call that working on accident versus working on purpose. Are you intentional with your time? Do you plan your day or does your day plan you? Are you being intentional? Or is your day happen on purpose or on accident? Think about that for a minute. Most real estate agents wake up and they put out fires and they work on accident every single day. No wonder you're not super successful. How could you be? Because you can't control your time. Your time is the most important thing you have in this world. Time is way more valuable than money. You can't make any more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. So why are you not protecting your time? Make sure that you manage your time. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You guys should write that one down. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Especially in this business, right? There's so many moving parts. Every deal is different. There's so many fires going around. If this business will eat your time up if you let it, it will eat your time for lunch, right? You have to make sure that you control it. And agents, I'm one of them. We're our own worst enemy when it comes to time. I had the thought of, oh, I'm a 1099 independent contractor. I make my own hours. I'll do it my way. I'll do it when I want, how I want, right? Who can relate to that? It's the mindset most agents are in. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to double your income, you've got to treat your business like it's a business. Open up your store and close your store every day. It will force you to shrink time. When you shrink time, you get more shit done. How many of you get in the office at the same time every day? I'd be willing to bet very few of you do. How many of you shut it off the same time every day? Probably nobody. Well, I work all the time. I got to work 24/7. That's why you're busy, not productive. Think about that for a minute. Is there anything that really happens after a certain hour that has to be handled that night, or could it be handled tomorrow if you actually opened your store at the right time? Are the title companies, are the lenders, is anybody else going to handle that problem at 8 o'clock at night? No, but I got to make sure my client knows I'm there for him. What are you going to do? Be a shoulder to cry on? You can't solve the problem. Set up the proper expectations with your client. Let them know I've got a family. Right? My business closes at this point. If it's an emergency, sure, we always make exceptions, but most things I can't do anything past that time anyway. Set up that proper expectation. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I didn't go to firefighter school. I went to real estate school to be a real estate agent. So why do we spend most of our time being firefighters, putting out all these fires in the deals? Well, lender didn't do their job. The inspectors screwed this up. And we just become firefighters all day, right? We just put up fires. Quit it. Play offense. Yes, fires happen, but why do we let them ruin our day, right? Play offense first. Control the controllables. Before I put out fires, I get what I need to get done that day done that's in my control, and then I'll deal with that problem. You know why? Because if I just deal with that problem first, it's going to put me in a bad mood. That problem's going to take longer. Nobody's going to know any of the answers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But if I get my stuff done, now I know I've at least been productive that day. And that by that time, most of the other people involved have had a chance to get 50% of that fire put out. Now it's easier to handle when I get there and I can be productive, right? So make sure you're intentional with your time and your effort. How many of you have must-haves you have to get done every single day? You have to have must-haves that you do every day without fail, right? Too many agents wake up on accident. How many times have you looked back on the day or the week and like, holy shit, wow, I worked my butt off. That was a busy week. And you sit back and you look, what did I get accomplished? Not shit. I didn't get nothing done. All I did was work myself in circles all day, all week. Man, I was busy though. I didn't sit down all day. I didn't even get to eat lunch. But you were chasing your tail because you weren't intentional with your time. You want to double your income? Be effective with your time, period. You can't make any more of it. Control it. You guys are playing defense. I'm playing offense. I'm going to do what I need to do first, and then I'll play defense. I'm getting my shit done first, and then I'll deal with all this other stuff. You got to be proactive, not reactive. Too many real estate agents work on accident. I want you to work on purpose. Work with a purpose on purpose. Be intentional with your actions. Control the controllables. Shit's going to happen in this business, right? Get over it. That's what we signed up for as a real estate agent. Sorry, shit happens. It just does. Get over it. But how you manage and react to that stuff that happens, that's where you make the difference. Do you overreact? Do you blow up? Do you let it ruin your day? Or do you actually take in all the facts, try to solve the problem, remove the emotions, right? And solve the problem so you can help your clients. A lot of times if we just don't overreact there, the problem's really not that big. It really isn't. And even if it is, what is you getting all emotional and spun up about it going to do? Is it going to help things or hurt things? Most of the times it hurts things, right? So why do we do it? Quit it. A lot of people get stuck in the busy tornado is what I call it. They just get in overwhelm mode. They're busy, 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 and they get so busy. Now they got all these thoughts running in their head, and they're just spinning around like crazy. They're in a big tornado of overwhelm, and they can't get anything accomplished because their head is playing games with them. Oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. But how are you going to get out of busy if you're not productive? Right? So make sure you are controlling your time. That just stresses you out, right? Get your must-haves knocked out first. So one of the ways I do that, I create a power list every day. 5 critical tasks that I have to get done that day without fail. Right now on 75 Hard Phase 1, I get 8, but typically it's 5 that I do every day. And I get those done first. Yes, there's exceptions to every rule, so don't be that guy. But most of the time, those are the 5 things I do first. Once I get those 5 things done, I've won the day. Now I can deal with other stuff because I've been productive that day. What usually happens when you get in that cycle of being that productive, more production happens because you're in that mode, right? Momentum is a real thing. You start knocking shit out. You ever had one of those days you're like, man, I got a lot of stuff done today. You just want more and more and more of it, right? That creates more of those. You can actually get way more done. Time blocking is a real thing. One of the things that we look for as a red flag when we're hiring, because we're always hiring, it seems, because we're growing so fast, is when somebody says, I'm a great multitasker. Because multitasking does not work. It's bullshit. Multitasking does not work. There's so many studies out there. There's so many exercises I could take you through. I actually took my ops team out we have operations lunch once a month. And I had them do an exercise because a lot of them think they can multitask. And I proved them wrong that they can't. They lose at least a third of their time when they jump from task to task, right? So multitasking doesn't work. So one of the tools that I've actually stole from one of my mentors several years ago is it's a 90-60 time block or a 60-30, whichever time you have. And so the first number, the 90 or the 60, is a tunnel vision. I put my phone on airplane mode. I set my timer for 60 minutes, 90 minutes. I turn it upside down and I'm tunnel vision on whatever this project is that I got to get done. When that alarm goes up, I'll pick my head up and I'll play catch up for that 60 minutes or that 30 minutes. You want to talk about being productive with no distractions. That right there will help you become so much more productive because you want to see how unproductive you are on a daily basis. Look at your battery usage and your time on Facebook and social media throughout the day. I'm just being honest. Well, I just look at it a couple times. No, you don't. You look more than that. If you can do 2 or 3 of these time blocks a day where you actually have tunnel vision on getting your stuff done, whatever is that priority for that day, you will accomplish 3 times the amount of stuff in that hour than you would have if you didn't do that. I can get you 3 times more productive just by that one task. I'm telling you, if you find a task that takes you an hour to do, then next time you do it, I want you to put your phone on silent, set your timer, turn your phone upside down. When you get done with that task that usually takes you an hour, turn your phone over. I bet you got 30 minutes left because you had no distractions. If I can make you more time, I can make you more money, right? And it's not time management, it's choice management. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Quit making the excuse of, well, I don't have time. No, you choose to not have that time. It's choice management. What are you choosing as a priority for yourself? That's a big one. You should write that down. It's not time management. They don't make any more time, right? Time isn't movable, but you have the choice of what you're going to do with that time. How are you going to manage those choices for that time, right? All right, running out of time here. I want to respect your guys' time. Number 3. So number 1 is lead conversion. Number 2 is accountability. 2A is time management, aka choice management. Number 3 is training. So the third step to double your income is training. 87% of real estate agents fail within the first 3 years. You know why? Because they don't have any training. There's no education out there. All the real estate school teaches you is nothing. It's a barrier to entry in my opinion. Sorry. But this is my brand and I'm just going to be real. Is I feel like the real estate test is just a barrier to entry to make sure not everybody becomes a real estate agent. It teaches you absolutely nothing about being a successful real estate agent. So what class do you have? Well, if you're with a big box brokerage, well, you may have this one class that they taught from 1984, right? That's in a book, but there's nothing tangible you can actually apply. And most people do training the wrong way. The training doesn't happen in the classroom. Training happens on the field. I'm going to say that again. The true training doesn't happen in the classroom. You can teach in a classroom, but you can't learn. You only learn on the field. You learn by taking action. So how many people actually just have a training and they think, oh, well, I hope they learned all of that. You have to do the training, which has to be great content, but then you have to take them out and actually help them develop that action to apply what they just learned. That's where they really learn. They may learn 15% in the classroom. They learn the other 85% by doing it, but doing it with your supervision to help them through that process, right? You got to inspect what you expect. Train your agents. But just teaching isn't learning. Teach them, then inspect what you expect. Your job as a trainer is not to just teach. You have to make sure they learned it. That's two very different things. Most people think that's the same thing. Teaching is not learning. You have to teach them, then you have to make sure they learned what you taught them. Hope you guys understand that difference. It's a huge difference. Most people don't get it. So if you're a single agent, right? If you're a single agent, you're saying, well, how do I get training? Well, number 1, all or nothing in real estate. That's why I'm doing this, is to train you. So hopefully this helps. But number 2 is how I taught myself when I was an individual agent is I would self-analyze after every action. Say I got a new lead and I had a phone call and it went terrible. I would hang up that phone and I would immediately get out a piece of paper and I'd start writing what went well, what went wrong, what can I improve, and how can I improve it? Immediately. After every single action, I would do a debrief, if you will, on what could I have done better, what did I do good, what did I do terrible, what do I need to do better next time? And now I'm prepared the next time that situation happens, I can handle it better, right? Are you actually self-analyzing after every conversation that you have, after everything, every action that you do, every appointment that you met? Say you go on a listing appointment, you don't get the listing. How many of you actually call that listing, that seller back and in a very respectful, kind way, ask them, I appreciate your time, but just out of curiosity, what could I have done better to earn your business? I really enjoyed meeting with you and I would have loved an opportunity to work with you. What could I have done better to earn your business? What did so-and-so offer that I didn't? Right? Now you get constructive feedback versus being scared. Oh, they just didn't like me. Right? Make sure that you are asking those questions. What could I have done better? All right. Skip through a couple things here. You have to train in depth too. Too many trainers hold back. Well, I don't want to give them the secrets. There are no secrets, right? Yes, there's tips, there's tricks, there's little tweaks here, but it's all about taking action, right? I could give my next door competitor my playbook, and they are not going to outsell us by doing the exact same things we do because we have more time on trade and we're going to do it better, right? So get out of that scarcity mindset. Train your people. Don't be scarce. Be abundant. All right. I get this question all the time when I talk about training because it's one of my passions. That's why one of the reasons I enjoy doing this. And they ask me, you guys need to write this down, right? Pay attention here. This is a big one. What happens if I train my people and they leave me? Right? Is that something you guys have thought about before? People ask me that all the time. What happens if I train my people and they leave me? You're asking the wrong question. I've got a better question for you. What if you don't train your people and they stay? What kind of organization do you think you would have then? So what are your options? Yes, I've trained people and they've left. But guess what? I know that I did what I needed to do to help them level up in their lives. What they do with that is their choice. What am I going to do? Not train them and hope they stay with me? That's a terrible way to run a business, right? Have the abundance mindset. I promise you it'll pay off. All right. DPA, too many agents focus on things that are out of their control, right? They're pulling their hair out. They're, oh, this lender did this title company did that, the inspector did this. Focus on the stuff that is, as a real estate agent, you're 100% commission based. Your time needs to be focused on the stuff that is income or dollar producing. You have to talk to more people. Real estate's a contact sport. Have more conversations. Meet more people face to face. Work on the stuff, negotiating contracts, right? So prospecting, showing properties, listing properties, and negotiating. Those are the $3 productive activities. That's what you get paid to do as a real estate agent. Spend more of your time doing those things. Pretty simple. All right, make sure you train them in onboarding, accountability. In the field training is a big one. I know that's something that we had a weak point that we're improving on, is actually how to show the property, how to list the property the right way, what to look for. Make sure you're doing role plays, help them, basically everything, marketing, lead gen, follow up, tons of stuff there. So we're running out of time. We got 3 minutes left. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to recap. Number one, this is the tips to 3 simple steps to double your business, right? 3 simple steps to double your income. Number one is lead conversion. You get better at converting leads, you're gonna improve your income. Number 2 is accountability. You hold yourself more accountable, or you actually have somebody hold you accountable, or you hold your team accountable. Whichever situation fits you, you will absolutely make more money. But you do it the right way. Number 2A is time management, aka choice management. What are you doing with the time that you have? It matters. It's huge. And number 3 is training. Right? You can do all those things, but if you're not doing the right things, or not teaching your people or teaching yourself the right thing, the right way to do things, then it's going to take you longer to get there, right? So you have to be more efficient with your training. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap up here. So if you want more training like this, let me know. If you don't mind, put something in the chat for me. What you guys like this? My first experience doing this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you liked what you heard. Hope it was valuable. And if you don't mind, again, if this was valuable to you, please share this with a friend. Invite them to like the page. The more people that follow us, the more people we can help, right? So please do that. Another thing is, I'm going to put in the chat here, I actually created a private group. Some of you may be a part of it already, but I was kind of keeping it quiet for today. Is I just posted it right here in the chat. So you guys, please go to that. That's a private group. I'm going to use that for more one-on-one live Q&A, coaching, and different things that I just want to make sure that I can provide more value. And so it's a private group only. So I'm not going to allow everybody in there, but with the group, now we can have file sections. We can have, it just allows for a little more one-on-one, face-to-face items. So please, I put it in here in the link. There's a link there to go to join that group if you liked what you heard. And please share this with your friends. I'm trying to give back, trying to help other people. So the more the merrier, right? The more people we can help, the better. All right, guys. And last thing, if you are not following All or Nothing in Real Estate on Facebook and Instagram, and my personal brand, it's Matt Smith on Facebook, and at Matt Smith EXP on Instagram. Please follow me. I drop a lot of content there too. And now in this private group, I'm going to be doing a lot of lives and a bunch of different things there. So if you liked what you heard, check them out. All right, guys, I'm going to roll. I got to go tuck my girls into bed, but I appreciate you attending, and we'll see you next week.